Hello and welcome. My name is Kirjath. I'm going to be doing a Let's Play of The Legend of Grimrock 2. It's not going to be a blind play. I have already played through the game, but what I wanted to do and what I wanted to record is a new game that is Iron Man and single-use crystals. I'm not doing old school mode because that would require me to do a lot of mapping and that would just be off-screen work and take up recording time. So you don't really need to do old school mode. They provide you perfectly good maps. It's an extra layer of difficulty that doesn't really translate to a Let's Play, I feel. And lastly, it's going to be hard, and I'm going to create my own characters. This is the worst difficulty you can go on, and with these two options enabled, it's going to be particularly strenuous. And with that said, I am actually going to be a little power gamey in the party I make, but hopefully it's going to be fun for you guys and fun for me. Because if it's not fun for me, I don't know how it'd be fun for you guys. That said, I'm not going to be commentating on it by myself. I'm going to be joined by at least one friend of mine who said he wanted to see if he couldn't comment on the series with me. Due to our scheduling, that means we'd be making videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so maybe 3 times a week. It depends on how the recording sessions go, but I'm looking forward to it because I first played Legend of Grimrock 1 with a friend over Skype. He would play it, I would comment on it, and then later I played it. And this is just continuing on the old tradition that we had. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Needless to say, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and explain in just this first episode, which is only going to be the prologue, because this is a Wednesday and my friend isn't available today to comment on the first part of the series. But I'm going to go ahead and explain the classes I pick, the characters I pick, and how and why they're going to help me win this hard mode. First off, again, this isn't my first time through the game, so I kind of know what I'm doing now, but at the same time, I feel a little bad for I'm going to be power gaming like I am. At the same time, the game is hard anyways, so it's not like picking what I'm going to pick is going to make this any easier. It'll just make it, hopefully, bearable, which is the point. Anyways, my first character is going to fill the role of a backline mage. Now, she is going to be human, gender doesn't matter, but the race and the class are actually going to be what's important. I only have so many character slots, and the rest of them are going to be filled with some pretty physically impressive dudes. So I needed a mage because this game, you kind of need a mage. And I'll explain why in a little bit, but unfortunately I don't have the character space for either the usual battle mage or the wizard. So what I instead decided to do is, since an alchemist is, in my mind, absolutely necessary for a playthrough, I was going to put points into alchemy and then points into magical skills. Now, sadly, the mage of the party is usually skill point starved, but at the same time, an alchemist needs very few skill points. So I thought I'd combine the strengths of the human, which is through the skill trait extra skill points, and through the fast learner trait faster leveling, and I'd end the game with probably enough skill points to make a pretty good mage. With this combined with a necklace I get later, the human should end up with at least a level, if not 2 levels, on the rest of the party. Probably just 1 level. I forget how the level scaling works. But that said, the other bonus of an alchemist is, 1, you get the herbs to multiply in your inventory. Herbs, sorry. And 2, Over a battle mage, you only lose 1 energy per level. I mean, they have the same base, so that's a wash. And then you also lose the armor weight, but at the same time, she's not going to be wearing very heavy armor, so she'll hopefully be able to carry her own equipment plus the herbs. And the protection and resist all is nice, but unless I get hit by some AoE attacks or from the side, which is going to happen, she's not going to be too much in danger. So we're going human, alchemist, throw all our points in vitality, give her a little bit of extra survivability, and throw all the rest of our points in willpower. You can only put a maximum of 5 at character creation, so she's going to end up with fairly balanced stats. And then she's going to throw her base points in alchemy, because you get the alchemist tool mortar and pestle pretty early in the game. And I'm going to max that fairly quickly because I'm going to need the potions and probably the bombs. But I'll only be throwing skills in it sporadically. She's probably going to skill up in a lot of things at once. I'm also going to put a point into air magic because I'm a big fan of both lightning, which is great against skeletons, and invisibility, which is great at just keeping me alive. And then I'm also going to put a point in concentration because mages, everyone who's a mage needs concentration. 3 points, I think, is what you need to get pretty much all the skills you'll need. But additional points are great for extending the duration of things like force field and the shield spell, but I don't know if I'll have the skill points to spare. So later I'm going to branch off into fire. She will be a alchemy, concentration, fire, and air magic. As you can tell, that's a lot of different things to use. Max level is probably about 15, if you can get that high in this game. And yeah, she's going to be very tight on the skill points. But we'll try and make it work. I randomly generated this name earlier, and I kind of like it. I know it seems a little bit more like Chewbacca, but I'm going to not make any Wookiee jokes. So I'm going to try not to. And we will go with a human alchemist as our first party member. Secondly, I'm going to throw in a insectoid Barbarian. Now this one feels a little bit more power gamey because you max out the strength, obviously Barbarian. You max out the dexterity in order to hit things, and then you get the strength per level from being the Barbarian. So you'll do massive damage with light weapons, actually, swords and whatnot. And then I'll give you critical. He is going to be a dual-wielding, backstabbing, heavily armored with the insectoid chitin armor, and a very fast attacker. So he's going to be a huge source of damage for the party. Not so much early game, but as the game gets more and more towards the end game, he'll be getting stronger and stronger. I'm going to be putting points into light weapons so he can dual wield, and he's going to take a bit of a penalty, but his strength should more than make up for that. And I'm also going to give him armor so that he can actually survive on the front row. He'll be wearing heavy armor, he'll be attacking fast. I give him chitin armor because 10 protection is pretty much an extra piece of plate armor on him. So that's not nothing. And I'm going to call him Gimgor, if I could spell. Gimgor the Barbarian. He doesn't need much energy because light weapons don't have too many power attacks I use. I know Flurry of Strikes is pretty good, and he'll be getting a lot more health per level, so his low vitality will not hurt him so much. And again, the reason I pick Insectoid is less chance of injuring body parts, so he'll be able to dual wield without losing a hand to like a warg. And also the quick skill just means I'll be clicking his attacks non-stop, basically. And there you have it. He is going to be one of our 2 frontliners. Light weapons, critical, armor. And if I have extra points, I'll probably throw him into dodge. See if I can't get him to get an extra 10% on his action decreases. But that's in the far future and probably not going to happen, because these 3 skills alone are going to take a ton of skill points from it. And he'll probably be soaking up a lot of dexterity potions. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with my crystal flowers this game. Next, we're going to have a Minotaur Rogue for the back line. Now, I pick Rogue because he gets not necessarily the dual wielding from the back line. I actually want him to be a throwing specialist. You'll notice rogues get a % crit chance per level with throwing weapons. So I want to build him as a strength thrower and dexterity so he can actually hit things. Energy's fine. There's not a whole lot of power attacks with throwing weapons. His health is not great, but he starts with some extra vitality that'll hopefully even that out. And as a Minotaur, he gets Headhunter for even more strength. The reason I pick it like this is because I could use an extra ranged character. There are certain enemies that it's just not a smart idea to get into melee combat with them. And so with both a mage and a ranged character, I should be able to hold my own at a distance if I need to. And secondly, as a very strong and accurate thrower, and later critical of course, he'll hopefully be getting enough crits to make his throwing skill exceptionally useful to the party. Unfortunately, his food consumption rate is going to be a little bit higher than the other people, but at the same time, there's both an item to negate that and plenty of food throughout the game. So this shouldn't be such a big deal for the party. So I'm going to name him another randomly generated name that I got earlier that I kind of like. Murter, my Minotaur Rogue. And lastly, I'm going to throw in a Lizardman Knight. Now, I don't like stacking on more than one of the same race. It's just a particular gaming tick of mine. I like everyone to be something different. I like everyone to have their own little niche. I don't like having 2 rogues or 2 fighters if there's more than just the 4 classes. And so usually a good choice for a knight would be like a ratling or an insectoid, but since I already have an insectoid and I don't really want a ratling this playthrough, I'm going to go with a lizardman. Resist all plus 25 plus the endure elements plus another 25 means as a tank he'll be fairly resistant to all the elemental attacks we're going to get over the course of this playthrough. And we're going to get a lot of elemental attacks. Most of them I'm probably not going to be able to dodge. Nothing you can do about that, really. Except, I don't know, tell me to get better at the game. That would be mean, but understandable. His other trait is going to be evasive, because we're actually going to build him as a dexterity tank. As a knight, he's going to get 1 protectional level anyways. And with his evasion bonus to the shield, he will hopefully A, be able to withstand a lot of punishment, and B, actually be able to evade a lot of punishment. He's not as dexterous as a ratling could be, but he's going to have the better strength to use. I'm going to give him heavy weapons because you should at least have a heavy weapons user in the party. He's not, again, a main damage guy, but at the same time, any hits he does get in will probably hit with a dexterity that's going to be pretty high. And heavy weapons can do damage regardless of what your strength is. They'll do more damage if you have strength, but at the same time, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference in the end. And then, of course, I'm going to be throwing him armor and dodge probably first, because he's going to be all about surviving. If I really need to back off, and if, of course, Grimrock dies, this guy, I'm going to name him, will be the main thing standing between me and the game over screen. And again, I think a knight is probably one of the best classes for tanking. The other choice would be a battle mage, but then I lose out on the cool protection per level and the evasion bonus. Also, I don't really... I mean, I guess there would be enough wands to go around, but I don't want 2 mages in the party. That's just me. That's just my decision. Anyways, so there you have it. This is going to be the party for the playthrough. Umral, our Lizardman Knight, is going to be a frontliner with heavy weapons and armor and dodge. He's going to be fairly resistant to the elements, as well as, hopefully, able to avoid a lot of attacks. Murder, Minotaur Rogue, is going to be a crit-throwing machine. High strength. He's going to be our secondary load bearer. And those rocks he picks up are hopefully going to pack a punch. He's going to be a back row guy. Grimrock, Insectoid Barbarian. With his chitin armor and his quick reflexes, he will hopefully be a frontline wrecking ball. I'm going to be giving him light weapons, critical, and armor as the game goes on, and if I can, dodge. And lastly, our Alchemist slash Mage, Kabaka Batar. She's going to hopefully be out-leveling the party, and at the same time crafting us our bombs, our potions, and our magical death. Well, this is the party that will hopefully see me through to the end. I hope to be doing a 100% playthrough. That does not mean all secrets, that means all power gems, so that I can fight the final boss. I guess that wouldn't qualify as a 100% playthrough, but anyways, what I mean to say is I want to get the completion ending. Simply to say, you know, this is hard mode and I beat the hard boss. And hopefully you all enjoy this journey. Again, I hope to be recording episodes every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday as everyone's schedule permits. And I hope you all join me on this journey. I'm going to fail a lot, I can tell you that ahead of time. This is my first time trying this game on hard mode, as well as single-use crystals. Saving is going to be few and far in between, so episodes are going to be kind of lengthy depending on how I manage it. I mean, sometimes maybe 15 minutes will go by and I need to use that save crystal. I don't know. Sometimes maybe an hour and a half will go by and I've lost my Let's Play partner. I don't know. I'm going to lean towards, if my fellow Let's Play commentators need to leave, I'll probably try and save it if it's a good spot. I would prefer a short episode with them than a long episode with them leaving partway through. Again, not everyone has the same kind of time on their hands as I do, and that's perfectly fine. But that's just my upload schedule, and that should wrap things up. I'm not going to start the episode right now because my Let's Play commentator partner is not available to join me tonight, and I wouldn't be able to save the game when I first started it out anyways. I just thought I'd give you guys a prologue and explain where this is going. So, yeah, have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.